Hello, X-Files, and welcome back to the X-Files Chat Room podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jessica, and as always, I am here with my bestest X-File, Dini. What's up, Dini?
What's up, Jessica? What's up, everybody? What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I can't wait
Good.
to get into this episode. Honestly, when we pulled it, I was like, I can't wait to do this episode just to see what we're going to pull next. But I was pleasantly surprised with this one today.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I
It's a
wouldn't
solid
say
episode.
Yeah, it's solid. Absolutely. I agree with that.
It's like a classic X-Files episode. It's just classic. It's like a standard
sure.
of what the X-Files was back in the day. So, all right, Dini, so let's jump into this now. Well, actually, before we jump into this, let's talk about Fight the Future. We recorded that a
so
million
good.
years ago. Obviously, like, that movie's our favesies. Do you have any thoughts about it? I mean, because honestly, I feel like I could talk about it forever.
Yeah, for sure. I think every time I watch it, as the years go by, I appreciate it more for different reasons. And I think us covering it really brought a lot of that out because I think we had a really good discussion about the film. What about you? Do you have any thoughts on it?
No, I really don't. I think honestly it's perfect. Like, I don't have very many complaints about it. I think it's near perfection. I do think there's some how would you say, like, questionable moments character-wise in which, like, they pop up in Fight of the Future, but then they, like, never pop up again. I guess the kind of the teasing that Scully does on the rooftop, I had you big time.
Yeah.
Like, that's never happened. And then when she
That's
gets
true.
the CPR, she says, I had you big time. Like, we've never really seen that side of Scully before or since that episode. And then
Right. There's a lack of consistency in that.
a little bit, but honestly, it's because they're on the big screen, right? Like, we got to portray them as best as we can. And if that means showing a little bit of their personality, then that's what we got to do. Unfortunately, as the series goes on, we just didn't really see a lot of those kind of tiny little things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Dini. So let's move into Sleepless. Who does the info block for this one?
I believe I do. So I'll just go ahead and take it. So today we are doing season 2, episode 4, Sleepless. The previous episode was Blood. And the next episode, one of my all-time favorites, Dwayne Barry.
Absolutely. Classic.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one. And then we covered Blood. Not one of our favorites, but we got through it. I think our discussion was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of remember that one. I think that one, I mean, let's talk about it. Like we just said, all of these kind of in this era are just classic X-Files cases, and that was one of them as well.
Absolutely. Original air date for this episode, October 7th, 1994. It was written by Howard Gordon and directed by Rob Bowman. And this episode takes place in New York City, Washington, D.C., Stamford, Connecticut, and Quantico, Virginia.
All right. So the ancestral homelands of New York City, well, that is the ancestral homelands of the Mohican, the Munsee, Lenape, Wappinger, and Canarsie. And Stamford, Connecticut has the same as well as Schaghticoke. Washington, D.C. is ancestral homelands of Piscataway and Anacostan, and Quantico, Virginia is the ancestral homelands of Doig. And I just wanted to point out really quickly, when I was kind of looking up this information, I found, hang on, let me see if I can find it. I found a really cool, informative little video called Lenape Return. And it's by Huff Media Solutions. It's about 1 hour long, and a group of Lenape community members go to New York City for the first time because that was their homeland. That's where they were from, and they're infamously known for the quote unquote purchase of, selling Manhattan for like $20-something, which they're trying to change that narrative. They have people in New York who are trying to change that narrative. and be a little bit more truthful of what that actually entailed. It wasn't
Awesome.
a purchase per se. So it was just really, really interesting. It was done in February 2018, and I just happened to roll upon it when I was doing some research. And so if anyone wants to go and check that out, it was very informative.
Awesome. Very cool.
And of
Very
course, we
cool.
find that information on the land at native-land.ca.
Awesome. Thank you for that, as always. Let's move on to things in the news. What was going on? On October 4th, Harriet Nelson, 1950s TV's beloved mom, passes away. Actress and television star Harriet Nelson, known for the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, was 85. On October 5th, 52 members of the apocalyptic cult Order of the Solar Temple die in a mass murder-suicide in Salvan, Switzerland. The group blended New Age mysticism, Neo-Templar mythology, astrology, and conspiracy thinking. I don't remember that. I don't remember this Order of the Temple cult.
Well, we were pretty young during this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I was a teenager, so
But I don't remember anybody ever talking about it. That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
It's never brought up. I've never heard of it either. No.
Nope. On October 6th, Ben Mokeana becomes the first Black mayor of Middelburg, South Africa, signaling continued progress in post-apartheid political leadership. On October 7th, UN Security Council demanded Iraqi troop withdrawal from the Kuwait border, part of ongoing efforts to reduce Gulf War tensions. Well, we all know how that ended, right?
Right.
Things popular at the time. The top films, The Specialist, The River Wild, and Only You. Do you remember any of those? Did you see any of those? Because you were pretty young.
Yeah, but I loved Sylvester Stallone because I loved Rocky. I don't believe I saw that though. I mean, I eventually saw it, but I don't think I saw it during this time. The River Wild, absolutely. That is
I love that movie.
One of my favorite movies ever. It is so good.
Oh man, it's great.
Kevin Bacon. Oh my God, he's so freaking good. And who else is in it? The guy who plays the dad. He's the nerdy guy.
David.
He's so attractive. I remember watching this and just like, dang, I kind of want a nerdy husband like that, you know? And he has like a little bit of redemption story, you know? It's just a great movie. It is. And Meryl Streep, I mean, there's nothing she can't do.
It's Meryl Streep.
Seriously. Yeah. My goodness. She's so good. And she's gorgeous in that movie.
She is. No, we're talking about it. I want to go see it again.
It's so good. Now, Only You, Robert Downey Jr., Marissa Tomei. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. I couldn't tell you if it, like, I don't even remember anything about it, but I do remember liking it because I enjoy both of them a lot. So
yes. I saw it as well, and I remember being drawn to it because it was like the same people that made Moonstruck with Cher and Nick Cage did this movie. So I was huge. I still am a huge fan of Moonstruck, and so I remember watching it based off that. It was pretty good. And Robert Downey Jr. is so freaking cute.
Yeah, he really
is. Marissa Tomei, adorable as well. So good stuff. TV. What were the top 3 shows? Well, we have our usual top 2: Seinfeld and ER, and Suddenly Susan.
Yeah, and I went and did some research as to what ER episode aired around this time, and that would have been season 1, episode 4, called Hit and Run. And this is Dr. Carter, our favesies, Noah Wyle. He's in the middle of like 2 surgeons. He's finding his way. You know, this is very, very early. This is episode 4. Trying to take his orders. He's going through some stuff in this episode, and I am a huge fan of ER and Dr. Carter. And if you watch The Pit and you haven't watched ER, you're going to have to watch ER. It's amazing.
You're going to have to go back.
Just think about it as like Dr. Robbie's, prequel.
Backstory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they're
Yeah, his
essentially
backstory.
almost the same. Oh, it's so good.
Wow.
But yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So music. What were the top 3 songs? I'll Make Love to You by Boyz II Men. All I Want to Do, Sheryl Crow. And Endless Love, Luther Vandross and Mariah Carey. So out of those top 100 songs on the Billboard chart, what was your MSR X-Files song pick?
Well, I'll say it again. I've said it before. It's really impossible to pick any other song than I'll Stand By You by the Pretenders. It's
Yes.
impossible.
Yes.
So number 29, I'll Stand By You by the Pretenders.
Okay. I mean, that is the ultimate, right? That is the ultimate Mulder Scully song. And I was going to pick it as well, but I went with number 52, sort of this around the same kind of theme. Anytime You Need a Friend by Mariah Carey.
Okay. Yep. That's a good one too. Absolutely.
All right, Jessica, where were you around October 7th, 1994?
You know, I was in 8th grade. I had no clue that the X-Files even existed. I was really into my friends, into sports. I was a big time sports jock. I played all the sports. I wish I still could. Just side note, I did graduate from physical therapy, if that's the right word. I completed my physical therapy. They gave me the thumbs up to get active again. So I've been on my Peloton, but I'm itching. I want to go out there. I want to play tennis. I want to play some basketball. I want to throw a ball around. I want to run some bases.
Nice.
And that's basically what I was doing in 7th grade. I was like super duper into sports, volleyball, basketball, softball, whatever. I was doing. Yes, absolutely.
Hell yeah. That's
How about
awesome.
you?
Well, I was 17 and I was caught up in a relationship drama between my 2 friends who were dating each other at the time. And it turned into like I was the one they'd call to bitch and whine about each other. And eventually I had to tell them, look, you guys need to work your stuff out and leave me out of it. I was totally caught in the middle, which looking back now is hilarious because whatever this relationship drama was, it went on for like 15 years between these 2 people.
Yikes.
Yeah. So we were like in our 30s and this shit was still happening. So I'm glad I disconnected from one of them and I'm glad I'm still friends with the other. But yeah, it's when I was looking back, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it went on that long. And so, yeah, so that's what I was doing. I was juggling, novella like friends stuff. Very much teenage girl shit, I guess.
Yeah, but the fact that you can't believe that something can go on that long, consider yourself lucky for never being a part of anything like that because I'm still in something that's years and years and years and years and years and years and shouldn't be. Sometimes they just get a hold of you.
Yeah, but you guys aren't like at each other's throats.
Not anymore, constantly. But I think because we're old, but well, I wouldn't say we were at each other's throats back in the day either, but definitely not on the same page, we should say. But situationships, I mean, look, I only recently have like kind of adopted this whole I'm not engaging anymore. I'm not going to draw this out anymore. Regardless if it's with a man or a friend or a family member. Like I've gotten really good at just like, okay, cutting out.
Nice.
Except for this one, but I'll get there one day.
Yeah.
Anywho, well, you got through that, thank goodness. And I'm sure you had multiple friends who would call you about all their issues that they're having. Luckily, I never did. I don't think I ever did, not as much as I did other people.
No, I think we've had our discussions and stuff, but this was constant. This was like every day.
Yeah, I was not like, bringing this every day.
No. And it would have been weird because you were like 12 at at the time, but
At the time, yeah, no. Yeah, I was in 8th grade. No,
you were like,
absolutely
and this
not.
bitch took my basketball and she told me, and I would have been like, oh my God, this
Like,
kid.
go home. Go away. I don't want to talk to you.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny. All right, Dini.
All right.
Well, let's move on. Cinco de los Fieles. This is, wait a second.
We got to do synopsis.
We got to do the synopsis. Why don't you read us what this episode is even about for those listeners who totally forgot about it? Because I guarantee you a lot of people have forgotten about this episode. Take it away.
Yes. All right. So Sleepless is about Agent Mulder investigates a series of mysterious deaths connected to a group of former U.S. soldiers who claim they haven't slept in over 20 years due to a secret military experiment. The case introduces Mulder's new partner, Special Agent Alex Krycek, and explores the physiological and supernatural consequences of the government's attempts to eliminate the need for sleep.
Which is really interesting because I'm constantly walking around saying, like, I wish we didn't have to sleep. I wish we did not have to sleep. Do you know how much stuff I could get done if we didn't have to sleep? Sometimes I'm
but then
annoyed.
you'd be walking around like the dudes in the
Well,
episode.
not if we didn't need sleep.
Well,
like clearly we need sleep, but if we didn't need sleep, like I wish we didn't need sleep. Sometimes I wish we didn't even need to eat because sometimes I'm busy. I don't have time to sit down
oh my gosh,
and eat anything. Like,
dude, you need to slow down a little bit. Like if you're like, God, I wish I didn't have to sleep and I wish I didn't have to eat, maybe you need to pump the brakes a little bit. That's kind of scary.
I love what I do. I just want to work. I just want to do stuff. I want to hike. I want to do everything. No, but you're right. No, you're not the first person to tell me that. But anywho, let's move on. Cinco de los Fieles. Right. This is top 5 from the files. This is where we go over our top 5 favorite moments from this episode. I will start us off, Dini, with my number 5. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
All right. My number 5 is the cold open. We open on New York City at night. Seems like your average night. Then we're in a home of an old man who is asleep on his sofa. He wakes up to smoke, opens the door, and it's a full-ass fire. It's just roaring. He calls 911, begs for help, and he eventually grabs like his tiny little extinguisher, which doesn't do much. The fire is just out of control. We see him trapped and we see him gasping for air. Then we cut to the stairwell, firefighters running up the stairs as people from the building are running down. They make it to the man's apartment, number 606. The door is cold and they confirm it's the right spot. So they go on in and nada, no signs of a fire. But the old man is dead right where we last saw him. All right. So I picked this scene because the fire was raging. It looked real and it felt real. I was practically gasping for air and freaking out like this old man was. It was terrifying, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially because you know that it's likely a high-rise building, which it was, although he was only on the 6th floor, but still high enough that you can't just like hop out the window and land and then dive onto land and live, right?
Right. Yeah.
The other reason I picked this is because this is October 1994, years and years and years before the tragedy of 9/11. And yes, I am fully aware that there are fires, or there were fires in large buildings that have happened before and still do that time, and that firefighters have raced upstairs towards danger before and still do. I just couldn't help but visually remember the photos from 9/11 that were taken in the stairwells, like visually as they were running up and people were running down. I just got taken back to those 9/11 photos. And sometimes I forget, like, there was a time before that tragedy. And when I'm reminded of that, it's notable to me. So this really stood out to me because it made me like, oh yeah, there was actually a time before this that I totally experienced, right? So
Yeah.
it was just kind of eye-opening, a little bit of shocker, a little bit of memory and things working at the same time, along with the realistic shot of that fire and this old man being trapped. So that's the reason I picked
Yeah.
this one.
Nice. I didn't pick this moment, but I do mention it later on in quick mentions. And it's basically, I'll just go ahead and talk about it now because since you brought it up, same with sort of the 9/11 memories of seeing, because I believe in the opening shot, we do get a quick shot of the Twin Towers and then seeing the firemen going up the stairs. And it's just like we all have like this collective trauma and memory of that. And that's exactly what I thought of when seeing this cold open. And I just think that's never going to go away. You know what I mean? I think it's with us for forever. As long as we have a memory and as long as we have, functioning brain, it's just there. It'll always be there. So kind of a bummer, but yeah, good pick.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it definitely is a bummer. But let's move on to your number 5.
My number 5, Mulder meets Mr. X.
Oh, that's higher on my list.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to your number 4.
Okay, let's move on to my number 4. My number 4 is Henry Willig's Victims Kill Him.
That was also my number 4.
All right, let's go. Henry Willig was watching the Home Shopping Network, a 90s staple. He looks like he's going through it, perhaps sleepy. He hears someone in his apartment, someone saying that he left the door open and he shouldn't be doing that in that neighborhood. It's Preacher, Cole, who we come to learn is Cole. His nickname is Preacher. Willig looks thrilled to see him, turns off his TV, and he's ready to vibe. He offers Preacher a beer. Preacher asks him how he's been. Willig, well, he's not doing too well. He says he's trying to forget, get it out of his head. He says he's fighting it. He keeps seeing faces every day. He says they're all going to hell. Preacher says that's where they've been the last 24 years. Willig finally asks Preacher if he killed Grissom, the man in the beginning of the episode that I was talking about with the fire.
Mm-hmm.
He had to pay, Preacher tells him. He says they all have to answer for what they did over there and they can't get away from it. Willig sees some of his victims from Vietnam in this moment. They're all bloody and burned and beaten. Men, women, children, just staring at him. Willig looks scared, but Preacher tells him it's all right. It's all over now. The victims raise guns and point directly at Willig. He looks scared and then relieved, and then they fire on him, and he falls to the ground. So, just really quickly, I don't want to make a huge deal out of this and can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. But I picked this because it was shocking and scary then when I saw it, which would have been after the year maybe 2000, 2001, whenever the DVDs came out. Me, I was 18, 19 years old at that time, taking history classes in junior college, consuming whatever they wanted me to. Whatever they wanted to teach me. I remember taking critical thinking courses, of course, and classes like that. I don't think I really started paying attention to other avenues of learning or other voices and truths. So as an adult, which I can fully admit I'm no expert, but I am aware of the different sides and different battles and arguments from U.S. citizens over whether or not we were even to be there and why. And without getting too deep into it, what we do to each other in this world makes me very sad and very angry. And it's still happening today. I feel for Willig. I mean, a little bit I feel for him. We do learn later that they all kind of went rogue and did what they wanted to do. But what they did to the people, like, what was done to them made them that way, right? And I think that's a conversation we could get into. But clearly, at the end of the day, he had regrets and he ultimately resigned to his fate at the end. This scene makes me have so much compassion on a lot of different sides, but also angry for why even these two sides were in this battle in Willig's
And yeah.
apartment to begin with. His
Mhm.
demons, their spirits, hashing it out in a Brooklyn, New York apartment because of reasons. It's just sad and gross. And I know it's a TV show and totally an X-Files plot, but it definitely made me think.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very haunting image that we see here. Um, and it made my number 4 for the reasons you've mentioned, because as well as a sense of you look back at it, it reminds you of the horrors that happens in war and why were we there in the first place. I also think Tony Todd was really good here. He was excellent in every role he played, honestly. At this point, Tony Todd was a horror film legend. He had starred in the remake of Night of the Living Dead, where he played Ben. And then a few years later, he starred as Candyman. He had this presence about him that commanded attention. And I think he brought that as Preacher. And even though Preacher is very much alive in this scene, there's something very ghost like about him, the way he talks, the way he moves. He's just great. And the other reason I picked it is because it addresses the horror, um, even though it's through a sci-fi supernatural lens of PTSD, just trauma. Like Preacher, Henry Willing was surviving, but he wasn't really living. He was trapped in his own torment with no end in sight because he was robbed of the ability to function like a normal human being because of what they did to them, right, with this surgery. And without sleep, he was just in this 24/7 cycle of hell, basically, which they talked about. And I thought that was really terrifying, as well as seeing his victims. You know, they were maimed, they were bloodied, they were burned, like you said. So it's it's a very haunting image, and I thought it was a really, really memorable and a good scene. So that's why I made my number 4.
Yes, and Tony Todd, I just want to note because he doesn't really come up too much in my notes. He was fantastic. I've liked him. I mean, all of his work is really really good, but something about Preacher, like you said, he had like this calmness to him, and yet he was
Mhm.
suffering from kind of the same thing. And I don't know
Right.
if it's because he gained this ability to do what he does and that made him calm, or if he is just like it is what it is and he accepted it and the other people could not and had not accepted it to that point of what it is.
Right.
So, but he makes you feel like obviously might be some supernatural elements going on, but I don't know. I don't know. I want to say his confidence, but it is. It's like his vibe. He's very elite and very you could just tell he's more sure of himself than anybody else. He has accepted himself more than anybody else. He's just giving off this vibe of I'm better than you kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've evolved more than you
Yeah.
have.
Yes.
And I'm here as this, like, sort of, like Mulder says, avenging angel, but I'm also going to alleviate your suffering. It's over. It's going to stop. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's just a really interesting character, and he just plays it so well.
Yeah. Good shit. All right. Let's move on to my number 3, Dini. And my number 3 is Mulder goes to see Scully.
That is my number 3 as well.
Okay. Well, do you want to take this one or you want me to?
You go.
Are you sure? I just did the last one.
Okay. Well, fuck it. I'll do it. All right.
Okay.
So Scully is conducting an autopsy on the fire victim, Saul Grissom, when Mulder and Krycek walk into the room. And she has her back to the door as she transfers this organ from a scale to a tray. And she hears Mulder's voice. Spleen or pancreas? He asks with a smile. And she smiles too. She says stomach. She turns to face Mulder. And the second she spots Krycek, her smile just disappears. Mulder introduces Krycek. Scully musters up another smile and is like, good to meet you, and walks right past Krycek as he's awkwardly goes to shake her hand. she leaves him hanging, which kind of that happens in an earlier scene, which is pretty funny. Anyway, my enjoyment of this scene doesn't come from Mulder and Scully's topic of discussion, which is Saul Grissom's mysterious death, or even how Krycek reacted when he saw Grissom's body on the autopsy table. It's not what Mulder and Scully are talking about here. It's how they're discussing it. They're face to face, eye to eye, like they're the only two people in the room, like they're the only two people in the damn world. Krycek is watching all of this go down very closely. And while it appears to be he's hanging on Mulder and Scully's every word because he wants to know what's going on with the case, knowing now what we know about who Krycek really is, I would say he didn't really give a damn about the case details. His eyes and ears were locked on Mulder and Scully because he realizes that their partnership, their friendship, their bond, their connection is way more powerful than he expected and more powerful than even the syndicate knows. At least that's what I picked up from the scene. That's what I got from it.
Literally, because he literally says that to CSM later.
Yes, exactly.
He was observing them and reporting back to the syndicate for sure.
Yes. And at one point, Scully starts to whisper and she's like, "It's almost if," and Mulder leans in closer and matches her tone. He goes, "What?" He whispers back. It's like, why are you all whispering? What's happening? Just the eye contact, the body language, the tension is just wild. And I love it so much. And I had forgotten about it. And so when I rewatched it, I couldn't get enough. I watched it like a million times. It's so good. So that was my number 3.
Okay. Yes, that was my number 3 as well. I'm just going to go through my notes really quick because I kind of described it a little bit differently. Same, but let me see.
Probably you have more detail.
A little bit. I'm just going to read it. Scully is weighing a stomach, all decked out in her medical examiner attire, doing her boss girl shit. In walks Mulder, who she called and told him to come by and check out her findings. Spleen or pancreas, he asks. She turns to look at him, all smiles. My sweet baby angel is looking all kinds of giddy. She sure was. And then she spots a rat named Alex Krycek. Her smile fades and Mulder introduces him. She says, "Good to meet you." He says, "You too." And once again extends his hand out. She kind of sneaks between him and Mulder and totally ignores him. And she gets back to work. She walks over to the body, Mulder right behind her, and she says, "Notice the pugilistic attitude of the corpse." I hope I said that right. Krycek takes a look at the body, and what do you know? He don't likey bodies.
No.
He starts to like cough, probably wanting to gag. She just looks at him, and Mulder turns to look at her, and she looks at Mulder, and they exchange a look, and he turns directly at her and gives her his full undivided attention. She speaks to him very softly and kindly, giving him her findings, all the while glancing down on his lips, as one does, I guess. They're doing their thing, talking, and Krycek interrupts them. Mulder, a little annoyed, squares up to Scully again and scooches just a tad bit closer to her. Clearly annoyed, there is another person in the room. The angle changes and we get Krycek in the foreground watching the two of them talk. They're in their own world and the camera slowly moves in on them, excluding Krycek and focusing only on our duo. We eventually get a close-up of Krycek watching them, probably wondering if there's something going on between them, because how can you not when you see somebody talking that closely to each other? The vibes are vibing with these two. Then they lower their voices and basically whisper. Like, homeboy is not standing right there. He's literally right there.
Yeah.
Scully has basically explained that Grissom died because his body believed he was on fire. So, all right, 3 things, maybe 4.
Okay.
I want to talk about really quick on why I chose this. All right, so 1, this is a very big thing to say coming from Scully. She even hesitated for a moment before saying it. We've seen her in episodes like moving forward, maybe even some before this, where she was a little more professional and chose like her words very wisely when there was somebody
Mhm.
else in the room. One, because she doesn't know or trust these people, or because she doesn't want to get the reputation, a reputation of her own like Mulder does. So I credit this scene to their agony of being apart this whole time, because he has this ability to like focus on her so intensely, and she focuses right back on him equally intense. In short,
Yes.
he created a safe area for her, and she's able to be vulnerable in telling him her findings. It's like a combination of everything just put her at ease. She didn't give one F about Krycek.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a remarkable thing to see. And when I see scenes like this, how could we not ship these two? How? And
Yeah,
how did people watch this and be like, "Oh, this is totally platonic. This is totally what coworkers do."
for
No,
real.
it's not. It's just the tension,
Yeah,
the sexual tension, the longing, the it's hot, dude. Like it's sex. There's something about it that's fucking sexy to me. Just the way they're whispering at each other,
yeah,
and then knowing that Krycek is there, they like I said, it's like they're the only two people in the whole world. And
yeah,
it's so good. It's
yeah.
good.
Also, I find it, as you did as well, totally hilarious that the both of them give 0 Fs when it comes to shaking this man's hand. It's classic. And the third thing I wanted to talk about, dude, is Rob Bowman. I know we've been side eyeing him for a bit since Trevor, but when it comes to
Mhm.
camera work, this man is incredible. The way this scene was shot, the encroachment of Krycek, but their ability to shut him out and focus only on each other, only on the victim and case. It's just chef's kiss. The camera gets tighter and tighter and tighter on all of them, but the magic between David and Jillian really radiates, and their whispering almost becomes erotic. It's a scene
Yeah.
that I totally forgot about. I never paid much attention to. It was such a pleasant surprise in watching this episode, and I was basically blushing as I was watching it.
Seriously.
I was
Like,
like,
"Woo, what's
"Dang,
going on here?"
guys, like what the heck?" Yeah. And oh, it
Yeah.
was just a really pleasant surprise. I enjoyed it. So that was yeah, our number 3.
Hell yeah.
Whew.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to my number 2, which is we meet Mr. X.
Okay, that was my number 5.
Four, number 5. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Hang on. Let me get a little sippy sip real quick. I am
Is it
burning
warm
up.
over there right now? It's warm
Yes.
in here.
It's so hot, and I don't want to put the AC on because then it's just gonna mess up the sound. So I'm sweating.
Yes.
I apologize to all who can
And then
see
talking
me.
about that last scene, probably
Yeah.
making us sweat a little
Yes.
more.
Exactly. Exactly. All right.
Right.
Mulder goes to some sort of like stadium that's in construction, and in the shadows, he meets Mr. X. Mulder asks who he is, and he tells him that it's irrelevant. He says he doesn't want to be there, but that he has data from a secret military project. Born from the idea that sleep is the soldier's greatest enemy, apparently Grissom was conducting some sleep experiments to try and eradicate sleep in hopes of building a better soldier. X says sustained wakefulness dulls fear, heightens aggression. Science had just put a man on the moon, so they looked to science to win a losing war. So basically, Willig and Cole were lab rats, along with their squad, but they had like 4,000 plus confirmed kills for their whole 13-man squad, which is absolutely disgusting.
Horrifying.
Oh my goodness.
My
Mulder
gosh.
asks if X was thinking Cole is behind this, but X is like, I'm not here to think for you, dude. All he knows is that Augustus Cole hasn't slept in 24 years. Oh, and also there was another member who was reported to be killed in action, but I guess he wasn't. X walks off, but Mulder's like, what if I need to contact you? What if I need more, etc.? But X isn't having it. He's like, you don't get it, homie. Closing the X-Files, separating you and Scully was just the start of it. The truth is still out there, but it's never been more dangerous. The man we both knew paid for that information with his life, a sacrifice I'm not willing to make. And then he leaves in the shadows. One, I love X. I love that man. Gone too soon. For our colleagues who talk to Chris, our mutuals who talk to Chris on the regular, ask him why X was killed off. I can't remember if it was addressed at File Fest, but I really want to know what the heck. He wasn't in this series enough.
I agree.
But man, okay, Steven Williams, Mr. X, high on my list of favorite characters. I think he might surpass Alex Krycek, who we also meet in this episode, on that list. I think I put Mr. X higher than Krycek. Yeah. This is our first encounter with X. Very serious, very willing to help when he can, but also very much like, look, dude, I'm not willing to die, period, end of sentence. On a personal note, I'm really attracted to X. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about him. I think it's his intensity. He's very much like Mulder.
He's just a badass.
He's very much like Mulder. We don't see it here, but he does a lot of the loud whispering that just really, really gets to me. Anywho, that's not what this is about. This is our introduction to X. It had to make my list. I absolutely love him.
Yeah, I picked this moment because I think he absolutely deserves some recognition as this introduction. X doesn't fuck around. He's going to say what he's got to say, and that's the end of it. Yep. And he establishes that immediately, which, unlike Deep Throat, who has like this sort of, Obi-Wan Kenobi sort of paternal vibe, he tells Mulder, I don't even want to be here, dude. And so that leads us and Mulder into this new direction of the series when it comes to the overall mythology. This man is not Deep Throat. There's a new sheriff in town, and he's not here to play nice. He's going to do what he has to do and bounce. He's not going to coddle Mulder. He's not going to take him to no fucking baseball games. Nothing.
Exactly.
He's just like, I'm going to do what I got to do, and I'm out. And I think this is just great. It was a great introduction. And I love that man. I love X. I love Steven Williams. I had the pleasure of meeting him at File Fest. He's such a gentleman, such a doll. So all that, all the love for Mr. X and for Steven Williams.
Absolutely. And like we got, obviously, like you said, he's pretty much setting the tone right from the beginning of like, hey, I'm not Deep Throat. And I love the fact that, one, he did that, but two, it's even deeper than that because we get to see them throw hands later. And it's just like, dude, this is awesome. You would never see Mulder throw hands with Deep Throat. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah.
Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah, it's a complicated relationship Mulder has with this man.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to number one. My number one is phone flirting. How about you?
That is my number one as well.
I figured as much.
Yep,
all right.
Yep. Well, hold on. I haven't done my number. I haven't done my number two. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We had the same ones for a while. So you're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
Please give us your number two, Dini. What is your number two?
Okay. My number two, Mulder meets Alex Krycek.
See, I knew that you were going to pick this one. I knew you were going to pick this one. I didn't pick it. And that's why I had to say like X is my number two. And it's because I'm pretty sure he's higher on my character list than Krycek. So I'm glad you picked Krycek's moment. Go for it.
All right. So Mulder is at his desk. He's transcribing some wiretap footage, and we see this clean-cut young agent sort of hesitating to approach him, but eventually he does with the folder in hand, and he explains it's Mulder's 302, just approved by Skinner. Mulder immediately notices that the case has been assigned to another agent, and Krycek says, well, that would be me. And then he formally introduces himself. Krycek, Alex Krycek, he puts his hand out. our boy Mulder totally leaves this man hanging. And he's saying Skinner didn't say anything about him taking on a partner. And Krycek explains it wasn't Skinner. He was the one who opened the case file first. So technically, it's his case. Mulder leans back in his chair and they have a discussion about the case, the particulars. Man found dead in his hotel room after he reported a fire. Krycek points out the victim's prints were found on a fire extinguisher and forensics picked up traces of ammonium phosphate on the walls and floor, but there were no traces of fire. Mulder says he appreciates the, quote, show and tell and nothing personal, but he works alone. Krycek stands his ground and reminds Mulder it's his case. He may be green, but he's not going to give up the case so easily. Mulder's like, all right, fine, go down to the motor pool and get us a car, and I'll meet you there. So I picked this moment because it's the introduction of the character that we all love to hate, Alex Krycek, played by the amazing Nick Lee. Back then, we didn't know Krycek was going to turn out to be a bad guy. And I remember, I don't remember actually seeing this episode the first time, but throughout, doing the rewatches, before I knew, that he was going to turn out to be a bad guy, I kind of felt bad for him because he's giving like this new kid's first day at school energy, but he also, comes across as having like a backbone for standing up for himself by not allowing Mulder to just take over the case, which is all great. But when you realize that he's a bad guy, this is all manipulation. This is classic Krycek. He's giving that like, oh, shucks, kind of awkward, when in reality, he's just trying to get in, right? He's just trying to get into Mulder's business, basically. And I think it's just a great nostalgic look back at the meeting of these two characters who, much like Mulder and X, would go on to have one of the most like complicated frenemy relationships on the show,
exactly.
And which would go on to launch thousands of fanfics, right? Because of their chemistry and their energy and their sort of love-hate relationship. So it made my number 2 because it's frickin' Krycek, and I love him.
Yeah, and I've read some of those fics.
Yeah. I don't think I ever have read a Krycek.
Okay. Yes.
Fuck the Super Bowl. That kind of
give me more.
Doing.
Yeah. No shit. No, but what I really find interesting about Alex Krycek in this episode is the fact that he basically did what Scully couldn't do. Scully was supposed to join the X-Files and be their little spy and discredit Mulder's work and do all of this stuff. Alex came in and just, like you said, he's trying to fit in. He's trying to get information. He's trying to stand up for himself. Like, he's literally playing Mulder. Like, Mulder has no idea. Mulder might think he's just like this like nerdy guy. Maybe, good for him. He has a backbone, whatever. All right, cool. I'll cave. Let's go together. But he doesn't know. Like, Alex is like, he's in it deep. He's in there to spy on Mulder and get all the juicy deets, which he does.
Yeah.
Not only does he get what they sent him in there to do to kind of like suss Mulder out, but he's like, hey, at the end, he's like, hey, let me fill you in on more that I got that I think you need to be aware of. Their bond is insane. It is deeper and more important than I think you guys know, and that's something that you need to pay attention to. So he did like extra credit. He did extra credit. He went above and beyond. And honestly, now you're making me realize like Krycek is he's bad. He's obviously we know he's a bad guy, but no, I mean like bad in a good way. Like, oh, you're bad. You're a badass. Like you are. Oh, now I'm starting to feel things for Krycek. One Nick Lee is hot. Let's just say that. He's very hot.
Yes.
And it gets hotter as the series goes on, but that's not what this is about. But listen, like, honestly, if you think about it, like, Krycek might be smarter than Mulder. You watch how this played out? he had
Yeah.
Mulder in
I
his
mean,
hand.
totally. Totally. And Mulder had, like you said, had no idea. But I think it's funny, this sort of Mulder and Scully both, not shaking his hand. And it's almost like, yeah, you're the new guy. I'm not going to, I'm not doing that. But it's funny because it's like, did they have like that, even though it didn't come across that way, did they have like something deep down go, I don't know
Oh,
about you, dude.
100%. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
That's what I love
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
is like their bodies were repulsed by him.
Yes.
You ever see like these I'm on TikTok a lot and there's like a people like women who talk about how they couldn't physically be around their partner, their man. Like they just out of nowhere just couldn't physically be around him, didn't want to be touched by him, like recoiled
Mm.
if they were. A
Mm-hmm.
simple little touch. And it was because their body knew that their man was cheating on them before their brain knew that their man was cheating on them. So
Oh,
like
wow.
definitely I feel like they were both like maybe a little bit in spite, like F you, like I don't want to get to
Yeah.
know you
Noob.
because you're not going to be
Yeah.
around for long. Maybe a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, but I think deep down their bodies were like, mm-mm, don't touch this guy. Don't trust this
Yeah.
guy.
They were repulsed.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Oh,
Ah,
man. That's
so
good shit.
so you're making me think twice about Krycek's ability to. I should say that I've never given him enough credit. I feel like, and especially now thinking about this scene, I'm like, you know what? He had Mulder in the palm of his hands, and I think that might bring him a little bit closer to X. Right now, I want to say X is still
Yeah. I
higher
think
on my
he
favorite
was,
characters list, but
yeah.
Krycek's close.
Yeah. Krycek had this ability of manipulation and seduction
Yes.
and just all of it. And I think because it's Nick Lee and, all the kind of, remembering all the bloopers with him and David Duchovny, there's like a lot going on. But if you really just focus on him as a character and his storyline where it starts here,
Yeah.
everything he goes through and everything he does, and it's just, you're like, holy shit, this guy was something else. And to the
Yeah.
point when I was watching the scene where Mulder refused to shake his hand, Scully, years later, we get a very pregnant Scully. Mulder says, take her. And
Yes.
she takes his hand and he's leading her to safety. Crazy. It's just
Crazy.
crazy
That
how,
is just like now
yeah.
now I'm like sitting here and I'm rethinking the whole Alex Krycek story arc. Honestly, you know how some people like only like will watch like the the alien episodes, what are those called? What are those that why am I
Like
drawing a
the
blank?
mythology.
The mythology episodes. You know how some
Yeah.
people just watch the mythology episodes that make it make sense, right? I feel like I
Right.
wanna watch all the Krycek episodes because I bet
Yeah.
you it's gonna be an amazing storyline.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
shit.
And then just to go from that to where it ends up, right? Where
Yes.
he's helping Mulder even from the beyond. And it's just like,
Yes. Oh my
this
gosh.
dude,
I just
man.
watched
This
that one the
dude.
other day.
Oh, so
The
good. So
truth.
good.
All right, let's move on to phone flirting. Our number
Yes.
one. Scully's at her computer with her sexy eyeglasses on. The phone rings, and it's the one and only Fox Mulder. They're all business as they speak about Cole and the sleep experiment. Mulder trusts her enough to even mention his theory. She listens, doesn't quite shut it down, and gives him the suggestion that he needs to work up a profile on Cole to try and figure out what he's going to do next because that's basically the best way of catching him. Mulder's like, all right, I'll sharpen my pencils. I'll see you later. Krycek walks up and Mulder tells him he'll be right there. Scully overhears and asks where Mulder is headed to, and then says, sounds like your new partner is working out. Mulder says he's all right and he could use some fashion advice. Like he's one to talk, honestly.
Exactly.
He continues to say that Krycek is a little more open to extreme possibilities than Scully interrupts, than I was. Mulder corrects her and says, then I assumed he would be. Scully smiles. Must be nice not having someone questioning your every move, poking holes in all your theories. Mulder sarcastically says, oh, yeah, it's great. I'm surprised I put up with you for so long. Another little smile, and then silence. And then Scully breaks it and tells him he better go. She'll read the report over again and see what she finds. He's like, okay, with a little smile on his face. And then he hangs up. So, number one status. I mean, this is so freaking adorable. I totally forgot about it. Is everyone sleeping on Sleepless? It's rare that I ever hear anyone talk about this episode. This little scene had some light flirting, some cop work, some longing, some smiles. You can tell that they miss each other, and you can tell
big
that
time.
You can tell that Scully is also a little bit jealous of Krycek.
Yes.
And Mulder gives her. Go ahead.
This woman is even jealous for him to be around another man, let alone another woman. It's like, damn, Scully, shit.
No shit.
Yeah.
So, and Mulder's giving her all the time of day for once, probably to reassure her that she has nothing to worry about, but that's a guess. Honestly, I used to give Dwayne Barry and Ascension and One Breath all the credit for all the angst in the early seasons. But I think them being split up and the X-Files shutting down was a huge contributing factor. And Scully being taken was just the thing that like bonded them together even further. But because of this longing and missing each other, that is why the whole Dwayne Barry arc is so powerful. It's such a great little nugget of their early years together, and I absolutely loved this scene.
Absolutely. I mean, these two, and I'm not saying there's something directly romantic going on or sexual, but dude, something is going on. And like you said, they're missing each other. Like the only time either of them smiles in this episode is when they're interacting in person or on the phone with each other.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're miserable. So that closeness between them, that longing, neither of them is ready to admit it at this point, but they're each other's best friends. They're each other's person. And the system, the man, whatever you want to call it, the authorities at the FBI may have separated them by putting them in different assignments, but they could never separate them from this relationship that's has them, bonded and so connected with each other, and which Alex Krycek mentions, later on to them, like, Scully's a problem, guys. Like, this is not just, just somebody he's working with or worked with. This is an issue, which later gets us to, what happens in the next episode with Dwayne Barry.
Yeah.
But love this scene. I again, like you, I had totally forgotten about it, and I just love the little pauses when they're talking to each other on the phone. It's just like, there's so much unsaid that they want to say or they want to express.
Neither of them wants to hang up. They don't want to hang up. They just want to keep talking. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
And then Mulder's little smile with, okay. It's just, just kills me. I loved it.
The fact that she can say, hey, go write a profile on this guy. That's going to be your best way of catching him, and him being like, all right, yeah, you're right. I'm going to go sharpen my pencils, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's guiding him. She's trying to tell him the ways of going there, and he's listening. Like, the man never listens, and he's freaking listening.
That's true.
Did we see him go do it? No, but I genuinely believe that he's like, no, she's right. She's right. This is how, this is what's going to happen.
I got to buckle down.
Yeah.
I got to buckle down and do this. And It's good
It's
stuff, dude.
such a good scene, and yeah, I totally slept on this episode, totally forgot about all of it, and, yeah, that's why I said at the beginning of this episode, I was like, "I can't wait to get through this to see what we're gonna pick," but then I started watching it, and I'm like, "This is great!
This is
This is
awesome.
wonderful! Are you guys watching this? Anybody watching this?" I'm like, "Oh, this is fantastic."
Yeah, it's
Classic
good.
X-Files. All right, let's move on to thoughts.
Yes.
So basically, for me, I was like, this story is kind of like Pusher before Pusher. Like he has the
Mm,
ability to change, alter the realities and believe that they're dying so that they die. So it's kind of Pusher before Pusher. Um Now I don't hate this episode. I didn't think it was that great, but it was
mhm.
very, very solid. It was I think if you were to grade this episode in the very early seasons, like season 1, season 2, it would be right up there story-wise. I think it was really, really good. But, as a whole, from the whole entire X-Files, it's probably on the bottom of the list, right? I think the
Yeah.
only thing that makes it, like, worthwhile is all the shippiness that's happening. But I
Mhm.
don't but at the same time, like, I don't wanna take that away from what this episode is trying to deliver. Writing is solid, acting is solid, direction is fucking amazing. Gillian Anderson, David Duchovny really nailed it. Like, I think this was a great story told well. I think it was a good story told greatly well, and,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, outside of the movie, for me, Jacob's Ladder with Tim Robbins, I don't remember seeing stories at the time about Vietnam veterans experiencing PTSD through this lens of sci-fi horror. It was very interesting, and I wish there had been more of focus on Preacher's sort of backstory and the backstories of Henry Willing and Salmatola. But of course, they only have an hour to tell the story. So they had to cram a lot in there, including the introduction of X and Krycek. Sleepless is a good story, but it's very busy. There's a lot going on. There's shippiness, there's introduction of new characters, there's this, storyline where they're trying to basically explain what PTSD does to our veterans, what the government is capable of doing. It's just there's a lot going on, but it's still a good episode, and it has a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, and I'd say
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's pretty accurate. I would give it that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Alright, monsters, bad guys, Dini.
Well, I didn't see Preacher and the surviving squad members as bad guys. I just think they were victims of a horrific government experiment that really fucked them up. I think the doctors who performed the surgeries and the officials who signed off on it are the bad guys here. As far as Krycek, I mean, we just got done
Yeah,
talking about him.
yeah.
Great reveal at the end, and we get Krycek for a very long time, thankfully, following this introduction. And man, does he have some amazing stories coming up. So
For
that's what I have
sure.
on Monsters Bad Guys.
Okay, really quickly, and then also CSM was in this episode, and we all
Yes,
know
that's right.
he's a bad guy. But really quickly, okay, so yeah, I understand like these experiments were done to this squad of like I think they said 13 people. Salvatore was talking about how eventually they all kind of like went rogue and started doing their own thing and just going and killing and killing and killing and killing. Like
Yeah.
is that because they stopped taking orders, they kinda went AWOL and did their own thing. Is it because of the lack of sleep that made them, like, a little crazy, to do that, or
That's what I got
was
from
it
that.
okay, because it sounded like to me that it was because they were feeling themselves and they could get away with doing all of this stuff, so they wanted to do that because I don't see how, like, going rogue
Mm.
and like um not following orders could be a symptom of the sleep deprivation. Uh, Although when I say it now it totally makes sense, but a part of me is like, then why the guilt? You know, like I understand they did
Yeah.
really horrible things, and that's enough to make people feel guilty. But I guess we see in X Files episodes, maybe before, but definitely after this one, we do see like the monster like fighting with himself every now and
Yeah.
again of like, I shouldn't be doing this, but I can't help it. Like it didn't sound like they had regrets until later when their actions started haunting them and they were
Mm.
sitting and thinking about it. So I don't know. It's like, did they actively, were they the bad guys? Because I feel like we might be letting them off the hook too easily,
Right.
if you know what I
Right.
mean.
See, from what I got from it was that the government wanted to build, like X said, a better soldier, because lack of sleep promotes aggression, right? So I think what happened, they did this experiment on them, and the reason they went rogue, at least that's the way I saw it, it wasn't because, oh, we can do anything, we're unstoppable. It was because the lack of sleep literally made them insane. And the government had no way of controlling them when they got to that point. That's why, when Krycek says to Matola, he says, so the whole squad went AWOL? And he's like, yeah, because I think they had created a monster that they couldn't control anymore. And then they just went off and doing crazy shit because, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
that's
no,
what I got from it.
and I totally get that, and I got that too. But what I'm feeling is, what I'm saying is like, in that moment, let's go to that scene in particular. He could have said like, there was nothing I could do to stop it. I didn't want to be killing any of these people. Nobody
Yeah.
wanted to be killing any of these people. I couldn't control it. I didn't know what was happening to me, and it kills me every single day
Right.
that I have
Right.
to be awake to remember all of this stuff. Like, if there was a little bit more something of, like, I tried my best, man. I tried my best. I didn't
Yeah.
wanna be a
Yeah.
part of this. I
Right.
sat on my guns. I hid all my guns. I hid my
Yeah.
ammunition. I
Right.
tried running away. Like, if there was more of that, then I would say, yes,
Yeah.
I would see them more as a victim, but
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
I see your
You know what I
point
mean?
too. Yeah. Yeah, I think it would have been great if one of them would have said, I was just a kid myself. I got drafted and then they performed the surgery on me and I don't know what happened, but I have to live with it. Something like a little
Something, a
deeper
little bit
into.
more
Yeah.
remorse.
Yes. Yes.
Or a plea that I tried my
Yeah.
best.
Right.
So, that's kinda why I also wanna put them in the bad guys category, but,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
I see your point for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I see yours as well. Alright, let's move on to the MSR Mulder-Scully relationship. Let's start off with Mulder. Well, actually, I'm gonna combine both Mulder and Scully into this. I
Okay.
think they're in this stage, and maybe relationship into this. I think they're in this stage of, um, kind of this new, I don't wanna say new, they're in this stage of something new that's happened to them. They've been split up, but yet they've already bonded. And
Mhm.
like, Mulder doesn't have any friends. Scully's his only friend. Sorry, Scully. Mulder's your only friend. Like, you don't have any friends
Yes.
either. So
Yeah.
like, they're still trying to like be friendly with each other. And look, these guys have been split up for a while, and yet like the last 3, 4 episodes, they've been in each other's lives in some way or another. So
Yeah.
they're not completely washing each other out of their lives. But it's interesting to see Mulder kind of longing for Scully. It's interesting to see Scully longing for Mulder, and not sexually
Mhm.
in either of those cases. They just
Yeah.
genuinely enjoy and miss each other's company, and they're
Yep.
smart. He's going to her for help. She's telling him, I think you need to stick with profiling in this case. Like, they are peers, they are helping each other out. I feel like those types of relationships, let's just throw the romance out of it. I think those
Yeah.
type of relationships in workplaces when somebody challenges you to be better, when somebody's being supportive, and when somebody is kind of your anchor to where you can bounce things off of. Those are really positive things in which one or the both of you, it could be mutual, could grow in your professionalism, in your career. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have somebody who's going to challenge you, you have somebody who's going to support you. It's like it's a friendship in the workplace, which is surrounded by professionalism and surrounded by achieving your work goals, quote unquote. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, for
they're
sure.
keeping it very, I don't want to say they're keeping it very like by the book. I think they are just by the book. I don't Yes, we say that Scully has these romantic maybe feelings for Mulder since day one, but they're not
Mhm.
coming out here. They're not coming out here. I think we're
No.
reading into it a little bit too much
Yeah.
because this is like, okay, we see something you guys might not be seeing, right?
Right. Yeah.
But
Yes.
they're not seeing it. And I think
Yeah.
that's why I really adore their interactions in this episode. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of how I take it.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you said, but I think Mulder, he was very accurate to the early seasons, I think, as well as Scully. Mulder's a bit antisocial, he's brooding, he's a smartass, but he doesn't lack care and sense of humor and compassion, which that's Mulder. Scully,
Yeah.
again, excellent team player. She's a great agent, investigator. She's a solid friend and confidant to Mulder. And even though they're separated by the powers that be, and we got to see when we talked about it, a little emotion from Scully here, which we don't usually see. Of her jealousy towards little jealousy there, and it's good. And as far as their relationship, look, these two have this unbreakable bond. That's it. It's more powerful than the syndicate knows, and I think at this point more powerful that even they don't understand yet.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Agree. Yep.
So yeah, that's what I have.
Good ship. All right, Dini.
Yep.
You got a dozen tamales. It's still tamale season. I think it's tamale season 24/7, year round, 365 for me.
Yep.
I got tamales in the fridge right now. If I had a dozen tamales left in the freezer ready to go to somebody who's deserving of it, you have a dozen tamales in your freezer ready to go. Who are you giving your last dozen tamales to?
All right. Well, my dozen of tamales goes to Nick Lee in this episode. From his introduction to the reveal at the end, I think for a lot of us who watched it, back in the day, and we had no idea, it was shocking. Like, holy shit, this dude! Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And I just think it was a really good introduction, and he did really well because it can't be easy to come into a series with two strong leads like Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny.
Yep.
And to perform where it's memorable and where he held his own. And I just, Nick gets my tamales. What about you?
That's awesome. I love that. You know what? I don't want to give him my dozen tamales, but I have to give him my dozen tamales because I think he did such a good job in this freaking episode. And that is the one and only Rob Bowman. Look,
nice.
That scene where Mulder and Scully, where Mulder comes to see Scully doing her autopsy and they're talking over the body, the camera angles are so amazing. The lighting is so amazing. The close-ups on their face, not even just in that scene, but the close-ups even of Scully when she's doing her big glasses, blue computer screen thing. She's just gorgeous. She's clearly pregnant in this episode.
Yeah.
She's just gorgeous, and I just loved his camera angle when we see Krycek kind of like standing, and then we just zoom into Mulder and Scully having this conversation, and Mulder with his wacky ass haircut. I just loved it. I thought every angle, the stadium scene, the scenes with X in the shadows, all of this stuff. I just thought I thought it was beautifully shot, and you know, forever a side eye to Rob Bowman, but I think like when it comes to his work and what he's known for and what he does for this show, directorial wise, I have to give him my dozen tamales with
Asterisks. Little.
yeah, yeah, the little thing. But no, with an honorable mention to Tony Todd. Fucking like he just
Oh,
was
yeah.
this episode,
The late
and
great.
yeah,
Yes.
radiated his talents, and I think he did a wonderful job. But yes.
For sure.
All right, Dini, we got some quick mentions. You have anything to mention in this really quickly?
I
that
think
we haven't
I
thought
brought
about?
up my quick mentions during
Okay.
our discussion. Yep.
So one thing I want to mention is smoking indoors. Gross, yuck. Saw it. Sal was smoking in his little
Yes.
a restaurant with Mulder and Krycek in the back, and just like, and I was like, oh, it was so gross. And speaking
Yep.
of Sal, Uncle Rico.
That's right.
Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
I was like, who is
Yes.
this guy? I couldn't figure it out, and then it hit, and I was like, dude, that's Uncle Rico. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention is Mark Snow, no bueno, no bueno. I'm not a fan of when he does like
The flute.
Yes, and I'm just like,
It just like covers all. It's like the cover all for any character that's
any
not
ethnic. Yeah,
yes.
just like, oh,
The cover all ethnic flute.
I mean,
Yes.
R.I.P. Mark Snow. I love you, homie. I love you, love you, love you. But this episode, yeah, not my favesies.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Dini, let's wrap it up here. Why don't we go through some trivia really quickly? Let's take turns. Go for it.
Okay. First appearance of Alex Krycek, played by Nick Lee. Lee assumed a different role earlier in the series in Gender Bender.
The character X was originally intended to be a woman. Natalia Nogulich even filmed a scene in the role, but she was recast with Stephen Williams. I want to say, did we ever see? Is there footage of that? I feel like there is.
Really? I
feel like there
I ever
is.
saw that.
Okay,
Interesting.
you guys can let us know.
While performing an autopsy, Scully receives a phone call from Mulder who states that his name is George Hale. George Hale was the visionary behind the Palomar observation in California. Mulder explained this to Scully in the past episode Little Green Men, where he also used it as an alias in his flight to Puerto Rico.
Yes, that was a little bit of continuity, that it was like, guys, you should have done more of this. Let's lean into continuity a little bit more. That was great.
Yep.
This was the first on-screen appearance of Mr. X. I'll go ahead and take the next one.
Okay.
This is Howard Gordon's first solo writing effort for the series. Gordon was inspired to write the episode following a 2-week bout of insomnia. There you go.
When Mulder is talking to Scully on the phone, he mentions soldiers walking through mushroom clouds. This is an actual occurrence, Operation Desert Rock, from 1951 to 1957, and it affected civilians and soldiers both knowingly and unknowingly.
Tony Todd plays the role of Cole, who is a Vietnam vet. This isn't the first time he had to play a soldier who struggles with guilt over illegal killings during this war. He also played one in Platoon in 1986.
At least 7 actors in this episode were also cast in the series Supernatural. Stephen Williams, Mitch Pileggi, Nicholas Lee, William B. Davis, Don Thompson, John Grease, and David Putonen.
Approximately at 8:45, a red Jeep Cherokee passes by the Grissom Sleep Disorder Center. This car is exactly the same one as the one Frank Black drives in Millennium.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The last scene contains a hidden clue about Scully's next destiny when Krycek meets the syndicate and tells them that she is a bigger problem than they had told him. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. We all know what happens next. All right, Dini, you ready to see what we're going to cover next week?
I'm ready. Let's do it. Now I'm hoping for another Krycek episode. Or X. That'd be good too.
Okay, I was freaking out. Couldn't find this guy. All right. The infamous Tupperware. You know what I want? I want some Monica Reyes, if I'm being for realsies.
Oh. All right. That'd be
Okay.
good too. I'll take it.
All right. I can't see. I'm not looking. I'm going to pick. I hope I got one. I don't know how many I got. I got one. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's see what we got here in my hands.
Okay.
Oh, God, Dini.
Oh, no. Is that a good oh, God, or a bad oh, God?
No. Goodness gracious.
I don't like the tone.
Can you read that? It's
okay,
a little
show
blurry.
it again.
Man, I don't know how to do this.
I can't. It's a little blurry. Oh, no.
Did you see it?
Yes, I fucking saw it. Oy.
Why? Why?
You want to tell them? Well, if they're watching, I mean, they're going to see it.
If you're watching, you already saw it and you're crying with us. But listeners, next week we are covering what, season 9?
Yes, season 9.
It's Vince Gilligan, so maybe we will be pleasantly surprised, but I don't know. We are covering.
And I haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah,
but
we are covering Sunshine Days. But look, hey, we did not want that to be our last episode. Can you imagine if we pulled that on our last episode?
That's true.
So let's get it over with. Let's get it over with.
Yes.
And we'll figure it out.
All right. We'll figure it
man.
out. And it's nostalgic, right? Because it's like takes place like in the Brady house.
Yeah. We'll find a way to make it fun, but it's not my favorite at all.
No.
No. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Oop. Something happened.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Sleepless. Go back and watch it if you haven't watched it. Honestly, I think the best way to enjoy our podcast, if you watch these episodes right along with us, go watch the episode and then listen to our podcast. I think you'll find it more enjoyable unless you have the brain that remembers every single episode of the X-Files.
Yeah, for sure.
Then you are super duper awesome. But anywho, if you want to reach out to us, you can send us an email to the X-Files chatroom podcast at gmail.com. We are always loving every time you guys send us emails. We absolutely love interacting with you. If email is not your thing, you can find us on social media. We are on Blue Sky, TikTok, and Instagram at TXF Chatroom Pod. And yeah, Dini, that's all I got until next week.
All right. Well, Sunshine Days. Let's do it.
So let's do it. Gonna have to.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.